With the imminent release of Alan Wake 2 on the 27th of October, I wanted to make this video to talk a bit about some of the things we know about the game and also some of my hopes and concerns I have about it. The game has been in a limbo for many years since the release of Alan Wake in 2010. After that release, Remedy Entertainment started to develop a prototype that was pitched to Microsoft Game Studios, the publisher of the first game. However, due to its unfulfilling financial results, Microsoft Game Studios wasn't interested in a sequel. They wanted something original, and so Remedy came up with Quantum Break that was published in 2016. In 2019, Remedy bought the publishing rights from Microsoft, opening the door for the sequel. And in 2020, Remedy announced that it had signed a deal with Epic Games Publishing for the release of two games. The first was the remastered version of Alan Wake, released in 2021, and later that year at the Game Awards, Sam Lake, the creative director at Remedy, announced Alan Wake 2. The deal between the two companies means that Alan Wake 2 will be released exclusively through the Epic Games Store. In addition, there will not be a physical version of the game, just the digital-only version. The game will be released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. There's two editions of the game, the base edition and the deluxe edition. The base edition costs €50 and the deluxe edition €70. If you pre-order the game, you get an Hornet revolver skin for Alan and a survival resources pack for Saga. If you buy the deluxe edition, you get the digital base game and also an expansion pass that includes the Night Springs expansion and the Lake House expansion. It also comes with two skins, one from Saga, Crimson Windbreaker, and another for Alan, the Celebrity Suite. And there's also some weapon skins, the Parliament Shotgun skin for Alan and the Nordic Shotgun skin for Saga. And Saga also gets the Lantern Charm that gives Saga an additional battery for the flashlight. It has been 13 years since the release of the first Alan Wake, and story-wise, the second game takes place also 13 years since the events of the first game. During this time, Alan Wake has been trapped inside the dark place, trying to escape. He will need to write a story to change the reality around him in order to escape. This time the game has a second playable character, Saga Anderson, a female FBI agent sent to Bright Falls to investigate a series of ritualistic murders. After she arrives, she discovers pages of a horror story that start to come true around her. And I wonder if she is related to the two Anderson brothers, Odin and Thor, from the first game, which had a heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s. We'll see. You can change between the two characters anytime, except for the opening sequence that must be played with Saga and the ending sequence that must be played with Alan. Some of the game mechanics return, like the use of a flashlight to dispel the darkness from the Taken before being able to shoot them down. And also the dodge mechanic when enemies are close by. And I hope they change controls for this because it was a bit awkward in the first game. Besides these returning mechanics, Remedy Entertainment also changed a few things for the sequel. First of all, and this is the biggest change from the first Alan Wake, the genre has changed from an action-adventure with a horror-themed story to a survival horror game. The survival horror genre is on the rise with several new games released as well as remakes like the high-profile Resident Evil 4. Therefore, Remedy Entertainment wanted to ride that wave. This means the game will have a slower pace. It will not be as action-oriented as the first. You will not face as many enemies, and each encounter will be more strategic because enemies will be tougher, sometimes like a bullet sponge, and you will have less resources at your disposal. You will have less batteries for your flashlight and less ammo, so you'll have to manage your encounters with the Taken very carefully. Remedy already said that the sequel will be more difficult and will take about double the time to finish. And this is my first concern. Will the game become boring if the game has a slower pace and you are facing enemies less frequently? Will you become frustrated if the difficulty is too high in some of its sequences? Will the game overstay its welcome? This feels like a major change, one that may turn Alan Wake 2 into something radically different from the first game. It takes the risk of becoming unrecognizable by the fans, like me, which loved the first Alan Wake for what it was and may not relate to the second installment. One thing that seems interesting in the encounters with the Taken is that they start out as dark shadows, which may or may not materialize into an attacking enemy. This will always keep you on your toes and guessing which will be the case. Another important change is that Saga's gameplay will be akin to detective stories. You will be collecting clues and information to solve problems and advance the story. This will be done through a representation inside Saga's mind called the Mind Place. Here you can review manuscript pages, piece together clues and profile people you meet. You have access to a case board where you will have to put clues and evidence you collected in the right order for the story to advance. I have another concern with this kind of game mechanic. What happens if you are missing a clue or a piece of evidence? You will not be able to advance the story and you will become stuck. In addition, the game seems to be much more puzzle-solving oriented than the first one, which will add to the frustration potential if you can't find the solutions to the puzzles. You may find yourself losing too much time trying to solve them. There is a similar game mechanic for Alan called the Writer's Room. Here he will have access to a plot board in which he will connect locations and story threads, writing new stories to reshape the reality of the dark place and find new pathways in trying to escape it. There is another new mechanic based on a light device that Alan has that, when activated, changes completely what you see in front of you. You might appear to be at a dead end, but if you activate this device, a new scene appears, showing a possible way out. Now, this is another big concern for me. How will we know when to activate this device? Will we have to be activating the device all the time, everywhere, in fear we might be missing a hidden pathway? Will we run the risk of being stuck if we don't? That doesn't seem like a very fun gameplay to me. Thermoses make a comeback for the sequel, but now they have a purpose. In the first game, they were just collectibles. Now you need to have them in order to save the game, which means that possibly you will not have checkpoints where the game saves automatically, like in the first game. Visually, the game is very appealing, thanks to Remedy's in-house Northlight engine, making it truly feel like a next-gen game. The engine uses the latest graphics technologies like ray tracing, DLSS 3.5, NVIDIA Reflex and mesh shaders. As a result, the game looks absolutely stunning and gorgeous, but you will need to use a powerful graphics card to take advantage of those technologies. Besides these beautiful computer-generated graphics, the game will also use live-action footage to enhance immersion and make it feel more dramatic. Remedy Entertainment always tries to use several different kinds of media in their games. It's great to see the actor that played Alan Wake in the first game, Il Cavilli, returned for the same role after 13 years. This actor lent his physical look to the character, but another actor, voice actor Matthew Porretta, performs Alan's voice. Another key person that is returning for this project is composer Petri Alanku, which was responsible for the music score of the first game. I just loved how the music and the sound effects added to the eerie and spooky atmosphere of the game and enhanced tension. And Poets of the Fall will also be returning. The Finnish rock band has been collaborating with Remedy since Max Payne 2. For the first Alan Wake, they wrote and performed 2 songs for the in-game fictional band Old Gods of Asgard. These 2 songs are featured as an integral part of the plot. And Poets of the Fall also contributed with an original song from one of their albums, a great song called War, that features in the end of episode 5 of Alan Wake. So I'm curious to see what will they contribute with for Alan Wake 2. From footage shared, it seems that they will lend their physical appearances to Old Gods of Asgard. This time the game will not have licensed songs on its soundtrack. Instead, Remedy opted to use only original songs written specifically for the game. For that purpose, they invited several Finnish musicians to a songwriting camp. This resulted in 21 songs, of which 7 were chosen to feature in the game. Remedy shared one of these songs, a great song by Raquel, called Follow You Into the Dark. That fits perfectly with the atmosphere and mood of the game. I'll leave you with a clip of this song and ask you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And what are your hopes and concerns about the game? Please leave a comment, and many thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.